Hello guys, welcome to episode 18 of Air Tycoon Online 3. Um, Today we're just going to be claiming what I consider to be a bunch of good routes, um, and that's basically it. If I were to do a quick update on, the company, it's doing pretty okay. Like, nothing special, but nothing, like, bad, you know what I mean? It's just pretty standard stuff. Um, Moderately high profits. I think I'm getting around 140,000 a turn, which for this stage of the game I thought I'd be higher, but I think it's a respectable amount nevertheless. Um, I guess I'll show you guys all my company stats and all that kind of stuff in a second after I make a couple of these routes I really wanted to take. I just want to get these routes out of the way so I can basically start the slot requests in Chicago again, because as you know, I recently started hubbing off of Chicago, and I basically need to make a whole bunch of routes to Chicago before I can get a new hub once again. So I gotta, get busy doing that basically. Now, if we take a look, I've taken Liverpool, so now I'm gonna take Manchester. Both of these cities are have about 350 or higher business or tours, so when I connect them to a decent city like Chicago, I will get pretty good occupancy. Um, and I'm also able to make these into stopovers by using some of the cities in South America as cities to stop over into, basically. It's a pretty good strategy if you want to be like me and make sure all your routes are stopovers. Um, this is one of the primary and easiest ways to do so. Another thing which I've been doing in order to increase my profit is I'll show you guys exactly what I mean in a second. But I've been going to my routes tab and like selecting all and basically modifying the prices by a percent or two. Um, what I've been doing is I've been going like this, percent all, and then we're gonna do 100. If the occupancy is 100 in economy class, I want to increase the price a singular percent. Um, and then I'll do the same for the business class. And then on the contrary, I like to go if the occupancy is underneath 93 or 94%, then I want to decrease the price by a single percent. This means it'll basically max out my pricing, but it'll try and get the occupancy basically to lie between 93 and 100%, which is probably the most ideal amount of passengers for profit. Um, as you can see, most of my routes have green arrows on them, indicating that they're making more than they did the previous turn, but not like the previous turn as in like the last month, but the previous term as in the last equivalent month. If you guys don't know, all the different routes in Air Tycoon Online basically follow a pattern where they increase and then decrease in occupancy based on like what month of the year it is. And I forget where the setting is, but I think it's here. Yet where you can choose to increment the display on your routes by a year, meaning it's basically showing how much this route was making last year at this time. So up arrows are actually pretty impressive considering satisfaction drops as the plane gets older, and therefore so does occupation by a little bit. But as you can see by microing the price, I managed to keep the general trend of the routes as an increase in profit. Of course, a lot of the smaller aircraft have an actual decrease in profit because I've been messing around with the services. Um, so yeah, probably a lot of these Tupolev routes and such need a little bit of help, like London to Cork, 380K. Not ideal. Not ideal indeed. Um, so, what else did I want to show you guys? Right, I want to show you guys my net report. My net report is now, wow, close to 150K. Not bad. But one of the most important aspects of that, as you can see, my fuel expenses decreased significantly. And basically, the result of that is just me remembering to fill up a fuel tank, which I bought. Fuel tanks are actually really, really strong in the sense that if you remember to fill them up, they will save a lot and a lot of money for you. Um, so yeah, basically, I remember to fill up my my tank, and it just saved me like 6 or 7K like that. And doing that every turn, at least when you're awake, I will end up saving a lot and a lot of money in the long run. Um, and that's just, I guess, something pretty nice to do. So, what do I have to do? I want to make good routes. So let's start by doing something like Monrovia to Chicago. Um, I don't know if Monrovia stopover enabled. It is not. So I'll do some stopover, something like this, I guess. Um, that is a decent stopover route indeed. For this kind of route, I suspect I'll be able to charge a very, very high amount. Um, as you guys also might know, I have lounges within my airports because lounges are only 1 gem each right now. And what I'm probably also going to do on this episode is actually go around to all the major airports I plan on using, such as Los Angeles. Unfortunately, there's only one airport in Los Angeles now, and I'm likely going to be using more slots in the future than are available here, um, and buying the lounges basically. I know it's temporarily a waste of money, but I mean, who cares? Lounges are such a great and powerful thing, and having them available for a single credit seems to be a pretty valuable thing. Um, do I eventually plan on hubbing in Rome? I don't think so. Do I eventually want to hub in Paris in my own airport? Probably. So let me build a lounge there. Um, Another thing is I'm probably likely going to want to hub off of Guangzhou. I don't know which airport to use to buy a lounge in, but I'm actually going to go with Guangzhou 2 and buy a lounge there because there's more potential space. I know like this is not my like airport or whatever, so that might not be upgraded, but I'm going to do so anyway. Same for Shanghai too. Uh, this will likely be my main Shanghai airport. So let's build a lounge there. Yeah, basically I'm just trying to build all the lounges whilst this promotion for these cheap lounges exists. Incheong's running out of slots, unfortunately. So I likely won't have a lounge for when I actually, start expanding off that city. Same with Tokyo Narita. Uh, like I can buy this lounge, but I likely won't have the ability to ever use most of the slots unless people empty out of that airport. But I remember I've already done Beijing and a couple others, but I can't imagine hubbing off of any other cities in Europe. Maybe Frankfurt. So let's buy some slots. Buy a lounge in Frankfurt too. Of course, I'll need slots to do that. So yeah, basically just preparing for the future. Getting all these very cheap lounges will be highly beneficial to my business class and first class passengers. If you don't know, business class and first class, I think, is highly affected by lounges. So, yeah, it's really great that I have some of those. I'll be able to compete with some of the other companies. And as you guys know, I've typically always shrank my business class considerably because I just preferred the economy. It felt easier to get more economy passengers. Um, but that's probably going to be a little bit different from now on. Now that I have, it's probably going to be a little bit different now that I have lounges everywhere. I'm probably going to be able to make a lot of long range routes with like the proper sized business class and such. Just because it'll have very great occupancies anyway. Like I'm very happy that like hopefully I'll be able to make routes um, like London to I don't know something large. London to Singapore, for example, like maybe in the future, and then I would love to be able to run a large aircraft on that route too, like a 747 with a large business and a large first class. I think that's one way to make a large amount of money from a singular route. Me and my friend Aves have basically thought of an idea just to have a little friendly competition, basically, which is who can make um, a route which has a higher total profit, basically, and who can make a single airplane make the most amount of profit. So basically, who can make the best stopover route and who can find the best direct route and make the most possible money from it. Um, and yeah, hopefully I'm gonna win that. So if I do, it's gonna be pretty beneficial to have lounges in both the airports I'm trying to use. I feel that's probably gonna be a pretty good advantage if I do manage to do that. Yep, once again another aircraft, another route, and then after this, I guess I'm gonna have to wait for Chicago slot request to finish. Now, Birmingham to Chicago is a decent leg, but the second leg in Tequito is not as significant, so we don't have to use as significant of a price. Every percent of price in this game, I feel like, makes an enormous difference in terms of occupation. Um, to put this in perspective, a route like Tripoli to Chicago, I can charge something like 1.3, or let me sort like this. London to Fukuoka, I have something like 1.33, 1.3 something price to get, a high amount of occupancy. But um, any higher and the occupancy starts to drop. Like, for example, like a route like this, 1.31, 1.34, if I went any higher, the occupancy would tumble. And I don't have any example of that because all my prices are set pretty well. But trust me, you go just a little bit too high in this game and the occupancy drops like a rock. I don't know why. I feel like the occupancy calculations in this game are done in a slightly different way from the way they were done in previous Air Tycoons, where I feel like the drop in passengers is very sudden as you increase and non-linear. So I feel like it might be dropping by set amounts or set percents based on like the size of the two cities. Like, for example, London to New York, one of the biggest routes in the game, can support like, what is this, 10 routes, and most of them are 100% occupancy, or at least some of them are. With like, even my cheap ass route here has 98% occupancy with 35% satisfaction. Like, hello? Like, these kind of things were just not really a thing in previous Air Tycoons. So I feel like the large cities in Air Tycoon are larger, and the routes are more sensitive to price than ever before. Um, Maybe that's the reason why large routes aren't available, or not large routes, but large. What's the word I'm looking for? Um, yeah, basically in Air Tycoon Online 3, you're not allowed to do like 1.5, like the very high ratios for price, and never really sure why, but just not allowed to. So maybe it's just because um, certain routes could make a very broken amount of profit if you found a monopoly. I'm thinking, for example, if you found a route like London to Singapore and made that on a monopoly route, I feel like it could generate such an insane amount of passengers, even with this sharp decrease in price, like decrease in passengers with price, that you can make an unbelievable amount from a single monopoly route. Um, and maybe that's why they don't have those pricing availables, or the pricing is just a bait and they don't want people to get baited into using that pricing where it won't generate enough passengers to make any money at all. Not sure which it is, but whatever it is, that's fine. I'm happy just making my routes, my little stopover routes. Um, yeah, as you can see, I have tons and tons of cities to eventually connect. I just have no idea how I'm gonna do it. Like, I still don't know whether all these stopovers I'm making actually need a second leg. And I also noticed that you can actually, in terms of stopovers, do kind of what I would consider kind of strange, like, shapes. For example, I can go backwards a certain amount, using a stopover, so that's pretty interesting. Like I have a lot of Tupolevs um, running the shorter range routes. Um, what I mean by that is I was buying Tupolev one, I think it's 124s, and basically I was using those to make short range routes. But now I'm realizing I could probably be saving those short range routes uh, as stopovers because they can actually like go in any direction if it's short enough. Like, let me see if I can find an example of this. I need to find a city around 9,000 or more kilometers away. Okay, just for the sake of argument, I'm going to use Astana. I'm not actually going to make this route. But for example, I could do Astana to Chicago and then do a stopover, which apparently makes it appear backwards if it's close enough. Let me see if I can find one. Oh, apparently that doesn't work. Um, hmm. Maybe I was just confused by the apparent shape of the globe. That appears to be the case. I was probably just confused. But I thought I saw a stopover which allowed me to go backwards if I did it within a certain range. Let me see if I can find one like that. Okay, let's try this. Akita to London. And then let's stop over. Uh, Needs to be around here. Yeah, see? Oh, wait, no, that's not a proper stopover route. Okay, well, it appears that I was probably confused. So, I guess that's that. Maybe I'm just dumb. Alright, well. What I was trying to demonstrate probably was just something that I noticed when I was really tired or something like that, and it's definitely does not appear to actually be the case. So, unfortunately, I kind of got that wrong. Whoops. Whoops. Oh well. Um, yeah. On the other hand, I kind of want to make this route now, but I just can't find somewhere to make the stopover conclude. Um, I feel like I have too many short-range aircraft. I could make a stopover like that. You see what I mean? Um, but I don't have a landing place. Is there anywhere on the North America? Guess I could do something like that. Feels like a waste to connect London to such a small city, but like as you can see, I've used literally everything in here, except for Omaha, but it's Omaha, so Omaha probably will never be used. But don't quote me on that. Next episode, you're gonna see me with like London to Omaha, but you know what? I'm gonna make this route just because I kind of want the London to Akita leg, but I also know that it's not worth making it direct, so I have to make it a stopover, and even if one of the stopover legs doesn't seem that worth it, it's probably still better. I don't know how I messed up there. I don't, where's my like route indicator thing? The hell? What is going on? Hello game? Well, what is going on? I'll be right back. So, alright guys, I'm reopening the game now. Hopefully that fixes what was going on so I don't have to deal with that. That was kind of strange. I don't know what happened, but the game just stopped responding. Oh well. Um, Ever since I started playing Air Tycoon online games, I've noticed that it's quite unstable usually, but I mean, it's a fun game. I've probably spent more money on this game actually than almost any other game I've played, come to think of it. Like, I've probably played this game for, I don't know, hundreds of hours, but I've probably spent, like, I don't know, probably close to like 60 or $70 on this game now. Just every, Air Tycoon, I've probably spent around 10 or $15 in credits, especially Air Tycoon Online 2, where I remember I lost my first account on Air Tycoon Online 2. So on my second one, in order to get enough of the slaughter quests and stuff, I had to spend a few dollars to do so. Whoops, I probably should not charge that high of a price on this kind of route. Um, but yeah, I remember I had to spend money twice on Air Tycoon Online too, so that was probably $20 or $25. So when you add all these little amounts up, I feel like I've probably spent more on Air Tycoon Online than I have on almost any other game. I think the only thing that probably comes close is I bought Battlefield 3 Premium a while ago, and that's all I can really think of. Battlefield 3 Premium was definitely worth it though. Um, yeah, I really, really enjoy that game. I find it really, really fun. Not that it's important to you guys, but just thought, give a shout out to good old Battlefield 3 for still being, in my opinion, the best Battlefield game. Um, Despite how many new Battlefield games there have been, I still don't feel like any one of them has managed to surpass the good old Battlefield 3. Um, yeah, I'm also feeling like I'm starting to really run out of locations to stop over into. So when that finally happens, whoops, what did I just press? Let me try that again. But yeah, basically, I lost my train of thought. So back to making routes. Whatever I was talking about, screw it. We're just back to making routes. Oh, great. I was talking about how all these routes I'm making, I'm going to eventually run out of places to stop over into in North America. What I'm going to do about that, I don't know. Um, like, for example, there's still so many cities I can see in Europe, but not that many options to do stopovers in North America. But one thing I think I can do is I can cancel a lot of these like shorter range Tupolev routes, and then I can use them as stopovers instead. Like all these routes I can cancel with my Tupolevs, and I can use them. And then I can use them for stopovers. Um, Also, there's still more cities than it looks, especially when some of these cities get larger. I think I know Santo Dominican, Kingston, and Caracas and Port of Spain will all eventually be usable cities, as well as these and Tampico and Cancun. These are all going to be available soon. So that will probably help with the imbalance issue between the European stopovers and the North American and South American parts. But anyways, I think I'm now out of inventory, so that's gonna be it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.